Hello and welcome to Paydirt TV. I'm Dominic Piper. Today I'm joined by Eastern Metals Managing Director, Wayne Rossiter. Wayne, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much for the invitation, Dominic.
Wayne, a few of our viewers will be scratching their heads thinking Eastern Metals, I haven't heard of that company. It's because it's a new IPO. You're planning to list in the next couple of months. You've got a portfolio of projects in New South Wales, but also in the Northern Territory. How did the company come together?
Yeah, Dominic, look, we are a new company and we're actually hoping to list in the next few weeks. We'll be attempting to bring it forward because the IPO is going really well as we speak. But the formation of the company, I've been working with Bob Duffin, the chairman, for the last few years looking for good projects. And we've been looking for projects that either have an existing resource on them or have advanced exploration that can be taken to resource relatively quickly. So it's taken a long time. These assets came out of Wesfarmers. There's been a deal about 15 months in the making to date, so it's taken a long time to get to where we are today. But what we've achieved is to acquire these assets. Wesfarmers picked them up from Kidman. Kidman had spent about $9 million on them back in the day. The flagship project, home of Bullion, it's a copper resource that's 2.5 million tonnes at 2.8% copper equivalent. So it's got great grade. We just need to add to the tonnage, which we think there's great potential to do. And then at Browns Reef, it's a massive lead, zinc, silver system. There's not a resource on it at the moment, but there's been a big defined area of mineralisation and the structures are even bigger. So we think there's ample opportunity to find one or more ore bodies within those structures.
You mentioned home of Bullion project in the Arunta province there in the NT. These polymetallic VMS systems, they usually occur in clusters. So although you've got an immediate resource there that I assume that you're looking to expand and push further, are there other targets? Is that the strategy here, to look for more of those VMS style deposits in a cluster?
That's exactly right, Dominic. So our initial drilling program is a 9-hole program, which will be resource extension work. So we're aiming to double the resource in size as soon as we're able to. But what we have is a whole suite of EM targets to the northwest of us and structural targets along trend, which either haven't been tested or have only had limited testing in the past. So we think there's great potential to add to the resource base through discovery of other lenses. And this tenement's kind of interesting. There's two separate areas under the one tenement number, and to the north we have another thing called Prospect D, which is a copper and nickel mineralized area. It's been mapped over about 2 kilometers, had some limited shallow drilling, which has returned very good copper and nickel grades. It appears to be a higher grade core in the center. So that's another interesting part of the project up there. And then of course, in the southern tenement, there's lithium potential. So Wesfarmers, who arguably have some expertise in that area these days, prepared quite a big program to test the pegmatites that are known in that area. That Arunta province is one of the known lithium provinces in the Northern Territory. That program was designed but never executed, so that will be in our work program as well.
Over in New South Wales on your Cobar project, you've got the Browns Reef project within that. Obviously, there's been a lot of success in that region for base metals in the past. And in particular, recently, we've seen Peel Mining as a junior go in there and have some real success. Their Mallee Bull prospect and Worlong now. Is that the sort of target of mineralisation you're looking for there?
Yeah, look, that's right. This Browns Reef prospect or project, it's interpreted as a syncline. It's about 8 kilometres long. It covers the extent of our tenement, and it's only ever been drilled on the eastern flank of the syncline over an area of about 2.7 kilometres. So if you look at the western flank plus eastern flank, there's about 16 kilometres of strike, and the western flank's never really been drilled because of some thin basalt cover. So we think there's potential for more of that system to be mineralised. That area that has been drilled by Kidman in the past, it's a 27 to 36 million tonne exploration target. The grades are relatively low, but within that system, there's been numerous high-grade hits that are also of ore width. So really exciting sort of intercepts that have never really been followed up on. So our initial program is a 6-hole diamond program designed simply to step out from some of those high-grade hits to see if they continue. And then we'll follow up with a second phase RAB program where we'll start doing our preliminary test work on the western flank to work out where we're going to drill along with some EM. But the size of the system there, if you have a look at pure mining, these sort of ore bodies, may only be 200-300 meters in strike. So over 16 kilometers of mineralized system, there's ample opportunity to find one or more ore bodies.
Can you tell us a little bit about the IPO? You've spent a little bit of time putting it together. You've put a pretty high-powered board together as well. What are the details of the IPO process, and when can investors still get in on it?
So it's been a really, really good reception, and I think the quality of the assets, the good price, and the quality of the board have really been the swaying factors. And we always think that with an IPO, you shouldn't get greedy as promoters. What you want to do is to value things fairly so that people who support you in the IPO can go on the journey with you, and hopefully with a modicum of exploration success, we can increase value quite a lot. So and in terms of the board, look, we're really delighted to get a couple of excellent non-executive directors to come on board, and I think they came on because they like the projects. It wasn't about myself and Bob Duffett, even though I'm sure Bob would say I'm an excellent gentleman. But look, Bob's a really experienced company director. He's a geoscientist as well, runs a tight ship, so he's our chair. And we've got a couple of fantastic consultants on board. So Gary Jones is our principal geological consultant. He's credited with the discovery of North Parks and did all the early work at Lake Cow. He knows his terrain very well. And then Bob Richardson, his father was the doyen of geophysics in Australia, knows the Tennant Creek area particularly well. And he really came on board bringing our Thompson project with him. And when you look at these bullseye targets, they're spitting images for what led to the discovery of those famous Cobar mines I mentioned earlier. So, higher risk, but potentially high reward, and we'll be seeking funding partners to assist us in drilling those.
Well, it sounds like a packed portfolio of projects for a new company. Thanks very much for joining us today, and best of luck with the rest of the IPO process. And next time we catch up, I'm anticipating being able to talk about some drilling results. Thank you.
I certainly hope so, Dominic. Thank you very much for your time.